This episode of Super Boothers is brought to you by LA Photo Party, winner of 2016's Best Photo Booth designed by the Photo Booth Network. LA Photo Party is one of the industry's top sources for photo booths like the brand new Venture, as well as software like Photo Booth Upload and Photo Party Upload. Visit their website at www.laphotoparty.com. Hello and welcome to Super Boothers. My name is Ryan.
And I'm Ismail.
And it's Wednesday!
Yay!
I'm excited. You don't sound excited for Wednesday as much as I am.
What is so special about Wednesday?
Because it's the day our podcast comes out.
Oh yeah, that is exciting.
I want to be like Bravo's Andy Cohen, who like, do you ever watch What Happens Live?
Yeah, every Friday night.
He just goes through. He's like, "What's your name and from where are you calling?"
I don't. I just want to make that clear for the listeners. I don't watch that show.
Your wife does. He turns into like a gay Larry King. I love it.
Yeah.
So we have Jasser Abujimi from Canada.
Hello, Super Boothers. I absolutely love your show. Thank you very much for doing this for our community. It's a wonderful thing you guys are doing. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I have two photo booths. One's a portable iPad-based system, and the other one is a printing photo booth. And my question for you is that I have some Saturdays where the booths aren't being rented out. On a previous episode, you guys said that you're of the mindset that your photo booth should always be out. Now, obviously, sometimes the photo booths don't get rented out on some prime days, and I do want those photo booths to get in front of potential clients. Do you guys have any tips or suggestions on making sure that your photo booths get as much use as possible, even if you don't have a rental for a certain day? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jasper. That was a great question, and I appreciate the kind words in the beginning. I think this is something that people struggle with, and it's actually kind of a controversial topic. People get very emotional about whether they should make deals to get their booth out and do it at lower rates, or they should hold out for higher rates and stay home. So it's an emotional topic. I think my opinion, and I don't know if Ryan agrees with me yet, is that for me it depends, right? If I'm the one that's going to be expected to go work the event, I value my time a lot more, right? So I would only do so if it's at a higher rate. I wouldn't negotiate down below what I think is a reasonable hourly rate for me to give up my time. Having said that, if I have attendants that are working the event, right, then to me, as long as it's profitable, I would 100% much rather have the booth out. It doesn't have any effect on me. It gets my people working, and I'm making some money on top of that, and I'm getting the booth more exposure at these events. So if you have attendants that are working the events for you, I think absolutely I would always try to make a deal within reason as long as it's profitable. To the other question you had about how to fill the dates up, one thing that I've had a lot of success with is I use a CRM system to run my business. When people fill in or when people contact me for a quote, right, it's all stored in my system. So I have a whole database of everyone that asks for a quote on a certain date. So if I have a Saturday that's open, let's say there's a Saturday that's open, I'd like to book it, we're getting close to the date to the event and I don't have a booking, I can go through every single person that requested a quote on that date and follow up with them and try to make a deal. So what I usually do is I send emails out to them, say, hey, we have one booth left for that date. If you're still interested, let me know what it would take to earn your business. And that usually starts a conversation. And I try to convert those empty dates into bookings. That's the best tip I have for that. I don't know if Ryan has any advice there.
So this is the thing. I'm kind of halfway with you. So the way how it works in hotels is you have generally, like, let's just say like we're going to rent a ballroom for, 400 people, and that ballroom might have, let's just say a $30,000 minimum. You're not going to book that event date for, say, a $15,000 minimum a year out. You still have an entire year to find someone to get the entire $30,000. The same thing kind of goes for a photo booth is, we all have our rates. The closer we get to an open date, I believe the lower we should go on pricing so long as it's profitable. I think that that's the absolute key here. Most of the time you're going to have people that will email you inquiries for a specific date. And the great thing about Ismail's CRM system is that it saves those inquiries to where, you can't follow up with someone after the fact. Ismail's like doing his little happy dance. So this is the thing. I do not currently use Ismail's CRM system only because my needs are a little bit more complicated. However, Ismail and I are working on a CRM system that will blow everything out of the water this coming fall. There's going to be texting.
Yeah, Ryan has been annoying me about texting for months, so I have to deliver on the texting by the end of the year.
I'm telling this is the thing that I have a problem with, is that for 4 months I have been yelling at Ismail, showing him, hey, I booked this client over text. So my current booking system will allow me to create a reservation and then give me like a little customized payment link to where they can see their reservation, sign the reservation, and then pay it. Well, the beauty of it is whenever I'm texting back and forth with a client, I can send that little link. Someone's already on their phone, their credit card saved on their phone. They can pay on their phone. Great, fantastic. I've been telling this to Ismail for 4 months now. He tells me 2 days ago, he's like, hey, maybe I should do texting because my wife was texting a client and she booked it. And I'm like, what? Like, I've been telling you this for like the last ever.
You know, you opened my eyes to the opportunity. My wife just, shoved it in my face. So you still had a role in it. It's okay. You still had a role.
So this is the thing is I have now learned how to get Ismail to do what I want. Tell his wife.
Yeah. That's it. Happy wife, happy life. That's what you got to do.
Absolutely. So going back to your question, don't give out the dates too early. I think if you have time to make up your rate, great, fantastic. This is the thing. If, let's say you're 2 weeks out, you don't have anything booked yet. A, do you want to go to the casino for the weekend? Or B, do you want to make some money and work instead of giving your money away to the casino? I would choose. I mean, for me, it would just kind of be a toss up. Well, no, for me, it would be a toss up. So sometimes I feel like going to the casino. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I better make some money and not give it to the casino. So, it just all depends on what you want to do. I would be the first person. If I have attendants doing nothing, they want to work. It is my job and responsibility to make sure that they're always working. Yep. Absolutely. Send out the booth for whatever you can, just so long as it's profitable. Although we do have an episode planned. I did this a lot when I was a florist. Whenever you have just a shit ton of bills and, you make 15 grand on an event and you have to pay out, X amount of dollars to the point where you're just kind of funneling money through your business and not making any money, that can also be a little bit damaging. You don't want to always be showing a loss. The real key here is to stay profitable with whatever event you're booking.
Yeah, I definitely totally agree with not giving the discounts to dates too far in advance. And I guess to follow up on that, Ryan, how far in advance of the date do you start reaching out to people to try to make a deal?
About 4 weeks out.
Yeah, I was about to say the same. About a month out.
Yeah,
I look if to the next month and start following up with people.
Yeah, if it's the end of the month and I notice that, 2-3 weeks are kind of slow, I'm going to start, wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, I think, Ryan, you had prepared something that was really helpful to a lot of our listeners about flash sales, and people can use that to fill up dates that are already empty.
So yeah, a flash sale is like the most amazing tool if it's used correctly. Flash sales can cost you money if you really screw it up. This is not a get rich quick scheme by any means, but this is the thing is it should be a very well thought out tool to gain trust, for recurring revenue, and it's not really just a one-off discount. There is always going to be the customer that just wants a good deal, that's going to book it and never come back to you. And that's all right. I have a PDF on how to successfully run a flash sale. And pretty much the big thing is just, repetition. We do a little timer on there from Motion Mail app. And it's really great to kind of generate interest and create urgency. The great thing about this is if you have an entire email list, or let's say there is one of the things that I have in my system is all the leads that have come through that have not booked. And that can range anywhere between, $30,000 worth of business that hasn't booked yet or $200,000 worth of business that hasn't booked yet. It's a great way that is scientifically proven to give you money. The way how it works is standard conversion is anywhere between 3 and 5%. The last 2 times that I chose to do a flash sale, it converts around 7%. So let's say you have, and we're going to go on small numbers here. If you have a list of, let's say, 30 customers who have not yet converted, one or two of those is bound to convert. So let's say that your average rate is $500. That's going to go out. You have an email list of 30. That's going to go out to, one or two people who are going to make $1,000. If you have an email list of, let's say, 1,000 people, that means that you'll have conversion of between 30 and 50 customers. So if you take that, multiply that times $500 pop, that's anywhere between $15,000 to $25,000 worth of revenue in 2 days. You can't look at it as each individual event is getting a rock bottom rate. You can't look at that. You have to look at it as the entire whole, as a successful campaign. So this campaign gave me 20 grand. Some people will very much dispute this. I have a business that is high volume, low price. Photo booths are the only thing I do. I do other stuff personally, but this business only does photo booths. So I have the ability to be able to, give out a rock bottom rate, because otherwise it's just going to collect dust. And I'd much rather have an attendant go out, make money, maybe see someone at another event than, they book a couple more from it or whatever.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest people check out that PDF. I know people wrote us and told us how helpful it was. The only thing I would caution against is if you haven't done flash sales before, maybe do it with a subset of your list. Don't send something out to 1,000 people on your first time. Like Ryan said, if you don't do it right, it can come back to haunt you if you don't do it in a profitable manner.
And this is the thing, is it can be very damaging to the brand if you do not do it correctly. The only real benefit of doing it is if you have a lower cost option. So what I would do is, you have like green screen booths and roaming booths and virtual reality booths. If you have just a simple iPad booth that all you do is just turn it on and it's making money just from texting, I would absolutely use that as like a beginning starter package. So you can say this package is, X amount of dollars for the next 48 hours, and 48 hours only, we're giving it to you for, whatever.
Before we jump into the next question, I just wanted to, you just reminded me of something that I heard. Jon Taffer from Bar Rescue? That show?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I saw an interview with him, and he was making a lot of interesting points that kind of stuck with me, where he said he was walking through how to win new customers in a restaurant or a bar. And he was saying that if you give someone a great experience in their first time with you, there's a 40% chance they come back for a second time. If you give them a great experience in the second time, there's a 40% chance they come back for the third time. But if you do it again on the third time, you've won that customer. It was like an 80% likelihood they'll be a loyal customer. So he was advising that to do that, you don't discount. He said people get addicted to discounts. They don't get addicted to free. So what he was saying is, in the restaurant's example, the first time you come in, you get a free, chicken wing. Then you get a free cheesecake. And people psychologically understand that that's a one-time benefit. However, if you, according to him, I'm curious to hear what Ryan has to say, but according to him, if you give them discounts, then they start to expect discounts all the time.
Yes and no. So it goes both ways. So there's a difference between giving a discount and creating value. Jon Taffer is a pretty good example of creating value in a very cost-effective way. There was one episode that he did where I guess it was just this, like, essentially a dive bar. The area around him was very much low income. Low income absolutely does not mean profitable. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. You can still have things that cater towards a low income demographic that are absolutely profitable. There's the adage, if you try and feed the rich, you'll go poor. Feed the poor, you'll go rich. I mean, that is why Walmart is one of I think it's like top 2 right now, or top 3 on Fortune 500. There's an absolute reason for that. There's nothing wrong with catering towards a lower demographic.
Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting, kind of a thought experiment for people to think about, is maybe there's things that you can give, instead of giving a discount to win the business, maybe there are things that have a high perceived value that you can throw in order to win the business. For example, as opposed to cutting my price by 30%, I would rather throw in a free social media kiosk. Because that has a high perceived value to the customer. It gets me the gig, but it doesn't cost me as much as giving the discount.
This is another thing, is I've done flash sales where, hey, you do this and you'll get, the free upgrade. That did not come close to the numbers discount. It just didn't. I have offered, scrapbooks, memory books, social sharing stations. No one gave a crap. Absolutely nobody gave a crap. And I've done the same thing with it's been the exact same email format, just with a package difference versus an upgrade difference. And the numbers game, this is the thing, is you're going to have a lot of people that are absolutely bargain hunting. That's an absolute given. you have that's another thing is there are some people that like shit all over Thumbtack all you want. There was one client that I got where I did their first event that ended up being $100,000 that year for me in just that one client. So and that's another thing is on things like Thumbtack or Groupon or whatever, you have to do the bad to get all the good on that one gigantic huge one. Yeah. And that's happened all throughout my career. I mean, that is 14 years of, just getting lucky, right place, right time with just the right client,
Yeah. The only other comment I'd throw in here regarding this topic is to people that are listening is don't just take what Ryan or I say as gospel. I think the most important thing to take away from Ryan is not that, discounts are way better than giving freebies. It's the fact that he tested both. I think that's the bigger takeaway to do. So if you have things that you want to try it. Let the numbers tell you what works better for you in your area. Don't listen to anybody, including us, about what not to do or what to do.
Absolutely. Someone made a comment on, I think I posted like a Thumbtack video, and someone made a comment, and I don't know who it was, and they said that Thumbtack really isn't great in their area. And you know what? That's fine. I mean, just because it's not that great in your area doesn't mean that you still can't be profitable with, one or two events that come through there a month. I mean, it may not work for you. Wedding Wire may not work for you. The Knot may not work for you. Whatever may not work for you. But there may be one thing that you might tap into where it's all just right place, right time, and it can just work. I mean, it's only money. I think I say that every episode. It's only money. Have you checked out Photo Party Upload? It's the industry's most versatile social sharing software. Features like custom branding, microsites, printing from an iPad, surveys, video integration, customized email, Instagram uploading, Facebook uploading, text messaging, Twitter sharing, the list goes on. It's available in the App Store for download. Click the link in show notes or use the code SUPERBOOTHERS during sign-up. And now back to the show.
All right, so let's jump into the next question.
Hi, my name is Michael with the Instabooth at theinstabooth.com. And I was wondering, what's your take on showing pricing on your website? Another question that I have is, what do you send your corporate clients? Do you send them a deck or a very informative email? I'm trying to build up my corporate clientele and just wondering what everyone's doing.
Okay, that's an awesome question. So pricing is pretty easy. That is divided into two camps. You're either putting your pricing out there or you're not. This absolutely goes back to what we just talked about with being able to retain the leads. First of all, let's go through whenever you show your pricing. So the benefits of showing your pricing is, you're going to have a client that is browsing your website. They see, oh, this is great. I like everything. They go to pricing. They see your price on there. It's clearly listed. Here's what they get. Great. It's all working for me. They give you yet another buying signal, fill out the contact form, say, hey, here's what I want. Here's the date. Great. Fantastic. The downside of that is sometimes you could have a client that gets scared of your pricing when they really shouldn't be. Whenever you can offer, a lower cost item, whenever, they don't have to get all the bells and whistles that you're offering, with this one package when, another package will do. There are times where a client just kind of doesn't know. I do not have pricing on my website because I don't want to limit myself. That's where I feel I can really get creative with how I present, whatever service I'm going to offer to them. There was one client that I actually just booked. It is a Halloween event and they're doing like Day of the Dead, Sugar Skulls kind of thing. And she came to me and said, hey, listen, what do you think? What would you like to do? So this goes back to the corporate thing is, yes, I do have a deck. Do I send it to everyone? No. I think I send it to, DMCs and meeting planners and that sort of thing, where if they are going to be in front of a client, I want them to be able to know everything that we offer. That way, if it's just right place, right time, their client has a question, they can, go through our little book and, hey, maybe this, roaming photo booth might work for you if you're doing, a cocktail party that's only an hour and a half long. So going back to what I did for the Halloween client is I did an animated GIF background and we had, moving sugar skulls. And I said, listen, here's what I would love to do. And sent it to her. She sent me an email back that said, OMG, I love it. No changes, no nothing. She was completely happy with everything that she got. Could I offer her more? Absolutely. She was fine with everything that, I had presented to her. So I think the thing is, whenever you don't have pricing on there, there's a difference between order taking and sales. And whenever you have a customer come to you with a problem and you're able to provide a solution, I think that just is more to me than, just having someone price shop, because then they're only going to you for price and nothing else.
Yeah, I think you totally nailed the fact that there are two camps for this, right? And I've tried both. Like I said, everyone has different things that work for them, but in my experience, I am a strong proponent of not including pricing on your website. I tried both. I think it kind of goes to what Ryan was touching on, where most of the decisions I make in business or in my life, I like to have options and flexibility and control, right? If I put pricing up on my website, I lose a lot of that control. Like Ryan said, people may get scared away by a price, but it may not be the right price for them. They may see a price for your, slow motion green screen package, and all they want is a little basic photo booth, and that price scares them away. So you lose a lot of the control. The other thing is, I acquire a lot of my leads through paid methods, whether it's AdWords or any other kind of paid marketing. I paid money for those leads. I paid money for that traffic. I don't want to just let them leave my site after 10 seconds because they saw a number they didn't like. I want to have the power of being able to follow up with them. If I'm slow that weekend, maybe working out a deal with them, I like to have the control in my hands. Those are the main reasons why I found that pricing not being part of the site works better for me. Again, you can try both and see how it works out for you. But generally speaking, I don't see the benefits of putting pricing on outweigh the benefits of keeping it hidden behind a form where I get to capture the lead's information.
See, that's another thing that I think that goes with hotels is, for example, take any wedding venue in the United States. Saturday is going to be most expensive, Friday is going to be right below that, and Sunday is going to be right below that. If someone wants to book it on a Tuesday, I'm absolutely going to sell it for whatever I can get for it, because that Tuesday business is normally not going to come for something that's solely wedding, because weddings are generally only on weekends. I think I've done one Thursday wedding in my entire career.
Yeah, totally agree. And if you don't have your weekday rate on your website, you just have your normal rate. Someone that wants to book it for Tuesday morning will see that rate and leave, theoretically, right?
And that's another thing is, if let's say you book something for $500, normally it goes for $750. So what? You have $500 more than you did before. Keep going on to the next.
Before we wrap up this question, I think he also had a question about the corporate decks.
Yes, corporate decks. I'm sorry. So corporate decks.
I got your back, Michael.
I love corporate decks. I am the best at corporate decks. I'm amazing at corporate decks. Oh wait, that's getting a little.
Keep going. See how fast you can say it.
So
Ryan makes huge corporate decks. Magnificent. Tremendous.
Yes, corporate decks. So the issue with corporate decks is I do have them. It's also kind of nice for me to, whenever I kind of do something new, print it out, write a little blurb on what it is, put a sample pictures, what have you, and continually add it to the PDF. I think it's great for DMCs, which is destination management, meeting planners, wedding planners, sales managers, anyone in a position to where they are in front of potential clients. I love for someone to be like, hey, let's do a movie theme. What do you think? And then they pull out, the red carpet thing. Great. Fantastic. Someone says, hey, we're doing a kids event. What do you think we should do? You know what? We got a kid size booth. Here's a picture of it. So it's just kind of nice for you just to have your entire offering in a very visual way. I don't think it needs to be sent to every single client. I like to be the problem solver. I like someone to come to me to say, hey, listen, here's what we're doing. This is the theme. This is what we're trying to accomplish. What do you think? And, that's where I get my moment to be a little bit creative. I love it whenever corporate clients come and say, hey, we're doing a circus theme, what should we do? And, let's do a little graphic and, do a little bearded lady thing, and someone can be the bearded lady, or, whatever. I mean, it's just, that is your opportunity to shine and to show how you're different and not just being an order taker. What photo booth would you like? How many hours? Great, we'll be there. I mean, it's just two different camps. Not that there's anything wrong.
Number 4, please.
Exactly. That's the big difference is sales you learn a lot. There are hunters and there are farmers. I tend to be more in the hunter category. I just like going out chasing it and getting like a big win. Coming back to feast on. I mean, that's just how I am.
Here's my cautionary take on this. I think it doesn't hurt to have a corporate deck. You know, it's great. You have a visual representation of what you offer. But I think oftentimes people get really stuck on the tactics, right? And they're like, how can I make my deck better? How can I do this? How can I... Really, the main thing is relationships. I don't know how many corporate events I've won simply because of my deck. It's really the relationship you establish with the event planner. And because of that, you start to have the conversation and you start to show them, like I actually put together mock-ups and show them that. And that is more powerful than your generic deck, in my opinion. And I think to learn more about building those relationships with venues and event planners, you should listen to the episode with Taylor. I think that's one of our most popular episodes. And she kind of...
The most popular.
Yes, the most popular by far, so far. And I think that's the bigger takeaway is not getting caught up in the deck and the font and how many pages it should be, more so establishing relationships with people, because once you have that relationship, the deck is not as important, right? At least that's my opinion.
Michael had another part to his question. Hold on, let me push the button. Here it is.
Do you have a line-by-line item invoice, or do you bundle things together and have a final price? I'm trying to see how transparent you need to be in this type of business.
So this is my take on that is I have been bitten in the ass so many times from bundling everything in a package. The problem is if anything goes wrong, you need to be able to quantify how much compensation should be. So for example, in my photo booth contract, it states I need to provide a functioning photo booth for 80% of the time. A functioning photo booth is defined as a photo booth that can take pictures, send them, and be able to save the file. That is what is considered a functioning photo booth. Whereas whenever we go ahead and add on printing, if the printer stops working, you need to be able to give an amount how much to refund. Otherwise, you're going to get taken to the cleaners. There was one time where I had a client where, the attendant, I guess, took too long to change out paper, or there was, I guess, some sort of technical issue that was going on, and he took 15 minutes to fix it. She wanted a 50% refund. That's whenever you have to go back into your contract and say, we have to provide a working photo booth for 80% of the time. 20% of the time can be used for maintenance. Those things need to be in your contract for remedies in case something goes wrong. So that being said, I have a line item for, if I'm going to do props, if I'm going to do a green screen, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to do that, whatever the case may be, it is all in there line item by line item. I don't list out packages and say, hey, here's what's all included. And here's that, one little line that says photo booth. I don't do that. Everything is listed all out one by one. That way the attendant knows and has to go through the checklist. Okay, animated GIFs needs to be on, green screen needs to be on, printing needs to be on. And that way there's just no questions. Everybody's on the same page and the expectation is already set.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I do it the exact same way Ryan does it. I think this goes back to my earlier comment about I like keeping control. And I found when and in your question, it was a great question about itemizing everything line by line. I don't know if you meant displaying line by line everything that's included or line by line with a price next to each item. I think from what my experience, if I have a line by line itemized pricing, it opens the door for the customer to use that against you. It gives them leverage to say, hey, what if I take this out? What if I take that out? I think if you don't craft your invoice or your pricing with that in mind, then they can take you to the cleaners that way too.
Well, there's two ways to combat that. I think that my entire business model is based off of a la carte pricing. So if you want to take off something, take it off. I don't care. It's one less thing that I have to do. But I agree with that. So what you can do to combat that is you can say this pricing is good as a whole. You can't take out one part without, another part of the pricing going up.
Yeah. So you do have to structure with that in mind. And I think it reminds me of a comment I think, Ryan, you made in an earlier episode where you found out that people weren't booking you because you included a travel
delivery fee, a big delivery fee.
That can work against you breaking those things out line by line. So I know this is different than Ryan, but what I do is I have it's kind of like a package listing where I list everything that's included. And I have a package price for those things. I do have add-ons that I have itemized by price that I can add on top of that to the package, but I just don't like leaving the door open for people to use that against me. So, I mean, that's my experience, and I think Ryan's point with the travel fee and delivery fee kind of supports that. So you have to, if you do it that way, you have to craft it with that from the get-go. Otherwise, I think both ways work. It's just a matter of what works better for you and your business. I think that was the last question. Thank you to everyone for submitting those awesome questions. I love the audio questions. We get tons and tons of people sending in questions via text, Facebook Messenger, and email. They're great. We try to reply to everybody, but I think the audio ones just add a little bit more flavor to it. I like to feel like I'm speaking to the audience. And it's cool because other people can benefit from your question because we get to air it on the show, answer it publicly, and not only do you get the answer, everyone else gets the answer. So please keep those audio questions coming.
Thank you so much to everyone today for submitting your questions. We absolutely love it. Everyone today that submitted their question is getting a free t-shirt or mug, so be on the lookout for that email. Please visit our website at superboothers.com and click the little button to join our Facebook group. We absolutely love it. If you want to hear about any of the videos that we talked about in today's episode, please check out our show notes. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us.